Well, in these uncertain times, there is a new narrative brewing now on social media platforms where Chinese influencers are flooding American users with a certain kind of videos, urging consumers to bypass Trump's punishing tariffs and purchase goods directly from China instead. They're dubbing it the world's factory, which is China, of course. And Chinese suppliers are retaliating against the US tariffs. They claim that top and popular US firms are rebranding what is made in China and selling that same product at exorbitant prices in America. According to Chinese influencers, over 80% of the high-end goods that cost tens of thousands of dollars in America are made in China and packaged in the United States. Several videos are doing the rounds which show those claims of made in China and being sold at exorbitant prices to Americans. China has appealed to American consumers to purchase from the source directly, that is, from its factories at throwaway prices instead of the sky-high prices charged by American firms. Now, separately, a Bloomberg report shows that American buyers are searching Chinese e-commerce applications for several goods, and that is due to fear that domestic firms may increase costs owing to tariffs. According to data from Sensor Tower, DHgate, which surged to second position in the free app rankings in Apple's US App Store, and that is thanks to viral videos praising the great quality and affordable pricing of items accessible on Chinese sites. Now, some of the most popular shopping applications in US app stores are DHgate or Dunhuang in Chinese, Taobao, the app owned by Alibaba Group, and Shen. Using TikTok, Chinese manufacturers and suppliers are promoting the source of goods to American shoppers. Several of the videos push viewers to buy from certain vendors by claiming that high-end brands, handbags and clothing are actually made in China. Now, the videos even provide links to their websites and contact information. The videos also claim the prices, including the 245% Trump tax, will be comparatively cheaper than what top brands are currently selling these luxury goods at. All right, so there's more on this, and for that I'm being joined by Robert Kep, who's the Director, Asia Pacific Geoeconomics and Business Initiative, Chapman University, joining me live from Los Angeles. Robert, thank you so much for joining us here on World Business Watch. Let's get right to it. Chinese influencers, I've already carried it in the report. You know, they're making all these videos on social media and they're luring US consumers by claiming how top American firms are selling high-end fashion items, which are in fact made in China, and they're selling them at exorbitant prices. They're, in a way, inviting them to buy it at cheaper rates. What's your take on this? Do you think they're going to kind of get through to the American consumer?
Well, to your point about tonight's discussion around winning the narrative, yes. I mean, they're winning that narrative. They're offering very attractive products at indeed bargain basement prices, even with the tariffs. The problem is they're not going to be able to offer those prices for very long. I mean, in the sense that what's going to be kicking in is the end to what's known as a de minimis exemption. And so if when that's gone, which used to allow duty-free products to be shipped to the U.S. if they were valued under $800, if they're actually claiming these are equivalent to U.S. products that are sold at another retail level, that's going to be in exponentially higher rate that U.S. consumers will have to pay, because they're going to look at the market value of these products. So that's just the first issue. The second issue is that's basically intellectual property theft. So it looks nice and it's a compelling narrative, but it's not going to fly.
I get your point. Robert, also, do you feel there is this option that China can perhaps take, that, you know, can they try and route their goods through other Asian nations to the US as perhaps a workaround to the high tariffs?
Well, they've actually been doing that for a number of years. So the short answer is yes, they can do that. They've been doing it. It's been successful. The question will be, will the Trump administration be able to block that too? That's one of the first things they went after in raising tariffs against our closest trading partners, Canada and Mexico, because they saw, in particular with Mexico, that Chinese manufacturers had moved operations there. They've also been moving to Vietnam, Malaysia, Thailand, and indeed India is another place they're wanting to move their manufacturing to. So the Trump administration is aware of this and trying to block that.
I get your point. Also, Robert, at this point, as you mentioned earlier, and that is what one would assume as well, that the American consumer is getting attracted towards these videos that are coming out from China. Of course, it's very simple. Why wouldn't you want to buy something at a cheaper rate, or why would you want to spend extra for that? Even though this is not a long-lasting situation, as you mentioned, in the long term, they won't be able to offer those kind of prices, even if they get plugged by the US administration at this point. How long do you feel there is going to be this unrest within the American consumer before the consumer just says that I don't want to buy things at such a high rate, if the blocking actually takes place by the US administration at this point, and they just want to buy products at rates that they were buying them at earlier?
Well, I think, yeah, to the long-term impact of your question, obviously, U.S. consumers are not real happy with the prices they are paying for branded goods. And that's one of the reasons these videos are so attractive, that concept that you can buy them cheaper. And up until now, you have been able, not with the brands, but say with Shein, which you mentioned, and Temu, non-branded but similar quality items, China's been very successful in selling those things. But now the impact of tariffs is that it raises prices overall. Once the importers are having to pay more and pass that charge on to consumers, other even domestically made producers will also, history has shown us, want to raise their prices. So there's overall inflationary effect. And to your question, indeed, consumers are more than likely going to start getting turned off by that, and you're going to see a drop in retail sales.
I understand. And very quickly, I also wanted to get your reaction on this, Robert. 34%, then we heard 105%, 125%, 145, 245. Where do you think Trump is going with this? And at what point do you think, and do you think China is going to break? Because they really don't seem to be budging at this point. They're saying we're going to fight this till the end.
Yeah, I think there's going to have to be some sort of face-saving move. Today, it was announced that Li Changgang, who's an experienced WTO negotiator for China, has been appointed as an envoy. And maybe it's someone like that who can kind of come in between. The biggest issue seems to be the Trump administration. In fact, President Trump himself has said he wants Xi Jinping to ask, that's the leader of China, he wants him to himself ask for a meeting with Trump.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of ego on the line.
I mean, U.S. wants China to come to the negotiating table first. Do you think Xi Jinping is going to do that, given all that we've seen him do in the past?
I don't think the way that President Trump is wanting, no, is the short answer. I think it's going to have to be through interlocutors. It's going to be someone like Mr. Lee, or someone from the U.S. side, probably Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, to play that role and bring them to the negotiating table.
All right, Robert, we've had a good chat. Thank you so much for joining me here on World Business Watch. Pleasure speaking with you. Would love to have you on the show again.
I look forward to it.